Maybe there's a quarrel between two people. Okay, let me use Auntie Sarah and Auntie Dina. So Auntie Sarah and Auntie Dina have a quarrel. Then I go to Auntie Sarah. What really happened? And she'll tell me all the bad things that Auntie Dina did. And I will say to her, Kai, but that thing Auntie Dina did is bad. Oh, she's wrong. Then I'll go to Auntie Dina. What really happened? That one will tell me what happened. I say, Kai, this Auntie Sarah self, this is not okay. She was wrong. When the two of them will find out that I said both of them are wrong, they become friends and they attack me. Look at you, traitor. Always backbiting people. No, they sit on the fence because as children having a critical dad, anyone you do is wrong. So you straddle the fence. They are the kind of men that when the children start growing and the wife says, honey, the children are growing, which school should we send them to? He said, pick the school. Any school you choose is fine. Where are we going for holiday? You pick the place. Anywhere you go is fine. We go is fine. You know why? If the decision turns out to be wrong, you can't blame him. That's why he sits. How many of you, your father used to tell you if you came second, the person that came first, does he have two heads? Hello, how many of you? If you come back to this house with second again, you see what I'll do to you? Excuse me? How many of you had fathers who told you they never came second? They are always first. My father used to tell us I never came second. And I went to Stanmore University, England. I'm a mechanical engineer, first class. Talk. One day, I don't know what my senior brother was looking for. He saw my father's old box. He found my father's report card. My father was 5th position. The boy carried it. Come. He called all of us. You people should come. Has daddy not been telling us that he was always first? We said yes. What is this? Am I seeing right? 5th position. He kept it. My father came back from work. Daddy, you told us that you have never been second. Yes, first class engineer from Stanmore University, England. My brother said, Daddy, what is this? So my father took it. He saw what was on it, but he now still went and carried his glasses. Oh, that must have been when I was sick. The legacy that such fathers leave for the children is that they can exhibit poor self-image and they have a distorted image of God. Poor self-image. I was in a meeting 2 days ago, yes. And we're talking about breaking forth. And we're having a panel discussion. And one of the ladies there had spoken earlier and she said that self-critic is usually vicious. It tells you don't measure up. And another lady said when they were reading the CV of one of the panelists, that she said to herself, oh, but I also went to school, but I didn't write it in my CV. She said she did not write it because she felt that, what did I get? This is a product of such fathers. Because they have been criticized all their lives, they sit on the fence. Have you met people like this? Maybe there's a quarrel between two people. Okay, let me use Auntie Sarah and Auntie Dina. So Auntie Sarah and Auntie Dina have a quarrel. Then I go to Auntie Sarah. What really happened? And she'll tell me all the bad things that Auntie Dina did. And I will say to her, Kai, but that thing Auntie Dina did is bad. Oh, she's wrong. Then I'll go to Auntie Dina. What really happened? That one will tell me what happened. I say, Kai, this Auntie Sarah self, this is not okay. She was wrong. When the two of them will find out that I said both of them are wrong, they become friends and they attack me. Look at you, traitor. Always backbiting people. No, they sit on the fence because as children having a critical dad, anyone you do is wrong. So you straddle the fence. They are the kind of men that when the children start growing and the wife says, honey, the children are growing, which school should we send them to? He said, pick the school. Any school you choose is fine. Where are we going for holiday? You pick the place. Anywhere you go is fine. We go is fine. You know why? If the decision turns out to be wrong, you can't blame him. That's why he sits on the fence. They are the men who look like their wives push them around. Their wives make all the decisions. Their wives are the ones always talking. It's because they are afraid if I speak and what I say doesn't line up, I'll be criticized. Even if it lines up, I'll be criticized anyway. I know a man who wanted to read medicine but could not, and he forced his 7 children to read medicine. And guess what? Some of them were art students. One of them spent 9 years in the university. It wasn't because of strike. That time there were no strikes. The final year in School of Medicine, he bought JAMB form and wrote JAMB. He didn't tell his dad. When he took his, what do they do with doctors when they finish? Oath of whatever. Immediately he did that. He came home, dropped the certificate for the father, and walked back to the university to study fine arts and design. He's a medical artist. What are the symptoms? They are often controlling and defensive. Very controlling people. Why? They need to control the stuff happening so that no criticism will come. Everything has to, this is where perfectionists come from. Everything has to be perfect because I'm afraid of being criticized. And sometimes you're not criticizing, you're just making a point, but they explode in defensiveness. Maybe they're in a group and the lecturer gives them an assignment as a group. Maybe they don't do very well as a group. The moment the lecturer starts speaking, they jump and start speaking and defending themselves real quick. Meanwhile, there are 12 people in the group. He wasn't addressing a specific person, but they make it personal. That is a product of the boundary buster dad. The critical dad, forgive me. And the final kind of dad that I want to speak about this morning is the shadow dad. The shadow dad is a traditional dad who is physically present but emotionally absent. He is physically present but essentially unavailable. This is a father who uses addictions to cope with personal pain. Most shadow dads have addictions, and incidentally, my father falls here. He was there, he didn't go anywhere. It was, in fact, the only times we missed our daddy was when he traveled to the village at the weekends, and it wasn't every weekend, but you knew your daddy was there. However, you didn't really get to see your dad. The best he could do was take us to school in the morning, drop off, and that was it. In the afternoon, my mother picked us up. But he came back from work straight into his room to have his siesta. He will eat, then have his siesta, and then get up from that siesta at about 5 p.m. and drive out. He doesn't come back till we are asleep. He's physically present. But my dad had an addiction of drinking. So he would go and feed his addiction. He had nothing to give. I do not remember any serious conversations between me and my father growing up. The extent of it was, Baba Anche Makaranta said we should bring school fees. Baba, uniform, my uniform is too small. Make me a new one. Daddy, they said we should buy textbook. He's physically present. He's the kind of father that you come to talk to him, he's reading his newspaper. And you're saying, Daddy, I'm talking to you. Is it my ears that hear you or my eyes? My friend, say what you have to say. How do you feel when he talks to you like that? Dismissed. Even now as an adult, if I'm talking to somebody and you pick up your phone, I stop talking. You can't tell me I'm listening. No, you're not. He will say to you, my friend, speak. When you finish, if you don't want to talk, stay there. And then you feel small, you feel reduced. You're already small as a person, but you feel reduced now. The legacy such fathers leave is that the children have problems with attachment and communication. When you meet children raised by this kind of fathers, they communicate indirectly. Let me give you an example. Maybe the person sees my microphone and the person likes it. But the person is afraid to be direct in asking. So you hear, you say, man, if you see this kind of microphone, man for happy. Hello? Have you heard that before? A man go happy. Now, he hasn't said, I want it. So even if you say no, na man go vex, no be me. Na man, he go pain, no be me. Does that make sense? They communicate indirectly because they are afraid. Even if I make the request, who is there to answer? Why would anybody bother to give me? One family that was having major crisis. The father, the mother, 3 children, a girl and a set of twin boys. Every time there was tension in their house, they would come over to my house. And one day they came, and one of the twin boys went and sat on my husband's lap. And my son, one of my sons, was jealous. He said, come down from my daddy's leg. Come down from your daddy's leg. My daddy's leg is not your daddy. And the boy jumped down. Even my daddy does not allow me to sit on his leg. Why should somebody else's daddy allow me to sit on his leg? Those children are at loggerheads with their father right now. They're 18 years old. The father stood up to instill discipline without love, and the two boys stood up. Don't try it. Two 17-year-olds. They stood up and said to the father, don't try it. We will beat you here, you won't believe it. The mother was begging from the side. She had begged the dad, don't handle the matter like this. These boys are angry, leave it. What? They are my sons. This is my house. Unfortunately for him, the house is the mother's house that she was given by her company. So when he said, I will send you out of this house, the two boys stood up and said, which house? Is it your house? It's mommy's house. You can't throw us out. You don't want to ever allow yourself to get to that point where your children look at you and you have no value. It's heartbreaking.